welcome to Bourbon Riders and the championship game for the Elite Wheat Series. Now, in case you didn't get a good look at the beginning of the games, these are our 8 wheated contestants. Now, there's a lot more wheated bourbons out there. I had to pick 8 of what I have, not necessarily 8 of the most popular, but these are well known and well respected. So, tonight, 2 of these, of the 8, are in the championship. I don't know which 2 that is. I have my suspicions on which 2 they may be. I'm probably way off. But tonight, we're going to get down to 1 wheater to rule them all. It may not even be my favorite wheater, but that's how blinds work. When you're putting one bourbon against another, sometimes they offset themselves in funny ways. So, we're glad you've been with us all the way up to the championship. The rules are the same. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to advance one of these wheated bourbons to the crown. So when we get back, we'll be set up for the final game, the championship round of the Elite Wheat Series. Okay, we're back. My lovely assistant is poured 2 nice pours in our Glen carrying glasses, because you got to have the best glasses for the championship round. They're marked on the bottom. The glass on the left is E. The glass on the right is F. I have no idea. Although I have my suspicions, like I talked in the intro, about at least one of them I'm thinking made it to this round, to the championship. The other one, no clue. Really, no clue. So afterwards, I'm going to try to mark down my ideas and see if how close I am. And in our recap show, which follows right after this, I'm going to see how many of these I can guess. It could be pretty sad, really. All right. We got putting 5 minutes on the clock. Mark. Set. Clock is running. All right. I don't remember what we started off before, but it's a championship, so we're going to start on the right. Glass F. Give it a little swirl. This has an unusual aroma. I am thinking that this is the bourbon that won Game 2 of the Final Four. It's got an unusual kind of fruitiness to it. It's like a fruit that, I don't know, a guava. Some odd South American fruit is in this. It smells great, but I can't tell you what it is. Very sweet smelling. The aroma is very strong in this bourbon. And that unusual fruitiness comes out. And of course, it could be that the spice is making it, but it smells like just a fruit I can't identify. All right, we're about a minute down, so let's go to glass E and see what it smells like. Well, this is a lot more traditional wheated bourbon. I get that sweet wheat, that kind of molasses brown sugar, sweetness coming across, some dark fruit. Very traditional, very wonderful. This is kind of the unusual one. I would say that I probably would normally like this better, but this intrigues you. It kind of brings you in, and you're going like, what the hell is that? That smells good. And I still, to this day, I cannot tell you, even if you told me what bourbon this was, I don't know that I could identify what the fruit is. Because I would remember that if I ever had. Wow. I like the smell of the aroma better on E than I do F, just because that I don't know what I'm smelling. So I like the aroma better on E. So we're going to start on the palate on E. Cheers. Very traditional wheated bourbon flavor. It's sweet, it's fruity. You get a little bit of that wheat up front, a sweet wheat. You get baking spices on the tip of the tongue, but not too harsh, not too peppery. It is nice. It is a very smooth wheated bourbon. I mean, really smooth. Let's make sure my timer's still running. We've got about a little less than 2 minutes. That is nice. I can see how it made it to the championship. It is really good. It's sweet. It's not too bold. It's not too spicy. It's got a nice finish on it. It's wonderful. That really is a great wheated bourbon. All right, back to glass F. Wow. I remember this. This is definitely the winner of Game 2 in the Final Four. That boldness is just like crazy bold. You get a ton of spice right on the tip of the tongue. Peppery. Do you get that fruit that, although I will tell you that in tasting, it's more typical dark fruits. Cherries, raspberries, maybe some strawberry in there. Maybe something like fig, something else it's a little more complex. And it could be that some of those kind of strange fruits gives you that strange aroma. But it's just like so many flavors coming across. It's like, bam. I don't know why my timer won't stay up and running. Anyways, wow. Take one more test. Back to F. And I'm out of time. Oh, this is going to be tough. I can see why glass F got all the way here. It's got such a bold flavor. A lot of spice. A lot of punch. I feel the Kentucky hug on this is more prevalent than on this. And I could see why it just obliterated the path getting up to the championship. Wow. That is truly a work of wonder. But I will tell you, and this is the kicker. One of the reasons I like wheated bourbons is because I'm not a fan of high rye in bourbons. I don't like the spice as a regular. I mean, do I drink bourbons with high rye in it? I do. I have some on my shelf in back of me. I have some that I like quite a bit. But on the wheated bourbon, I actually like something that's toned back a little bit. I love the baking spices. I love the sweetness. I love tasting that wheat. I love the back end that wheated bourbon gives you on the finish. I'm not a big fan of a peppery finish. This has a peppery finish. It is crazy good, crazy bold, in your face. But on a day in and day out, the kind of wheated bourbon that I like and go back to is Glass E. It's just a wonderful experience. It's just what I think a wheated bourbon should be. Do I love the bold taste? That is crazy good. Yes, I love the bold taste. But as far as the best wheated bourbon that I own, the most enjoyable wheated bourbon that I could pour is Glass E. Glass E wins the championship. Glass F is no slouch. When I want something bold in your face, I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to go to Glass F. But when I want a really good wheated bourbon, it's E. It will always be E because of that balance that it shows. It's just perfect. It's smooth. It's sweet. It's got that baking spice. It's got that perfect finish. That is, at least in this competition, the best wheated bourbon. I'm probably going to be embarrassed as hell how bad I got this wrong. But we hope you, our fans, enjoyed the show and will stick around for the recap. Well, welcome to the championship recap session of our show. We just got through doing the final Game 7 of the championship. I still don't know who won. My lovely assistant, Kim. Say hello, Kim.
Hello.
She is in here with us behind the camera. And we're going to go over and try to figure out where these 8 wonderful wheated bourbons placed. So, Kim, tell us who was in Game 1 of the Elite 8.
Game 1 matched up Old Elk and Larceny Small Batch.
Oh, wow. The King got first. So, wow. Oh. Well, what was your impression when I got through this one? And do you remember what I told you?
I remember you said that you told me which glass was the winner, and I was very surprised at your choice.
Oh, no. I have Old Elk losing in the first round.
That's correct.
Well, my guesses later on in the show are entirely bogus now because I thought Old Elk was going through the round and round, and I kept tasting it over and over again. Old Elk lost to Larceny Small Batch. Never in the real world would that happen except in a blind tasting because I love this product. I love Old Elk, and it lost to Larceny. Now, Larceny is the sweeter of the two. And what did I say that I said spicy up front could be any wheater. That wasn't true. And I said about the Larceny, sweet aroma and taste, less spice up front, possibly Bardstown. Well, I got both of those wrong. I haven't tasted Larceny in quite a while, probably since I did the last comparison on Larceny against some other wheater. So, Larceny wins, Old Elk doesn't. That's crazy. And this whole thing is crazy to start with. So, Game 2.
Game 2. In Game 2, I matched up Bardstown and Maker's Mark 46.
Oh, that's a good matchup. Bardstown and Maker's Mark 46. What do you remember from that one?
I don't remember a strong reaction from what you said after the tasting in this case.
Okay, well, I made some notes. I said that C was the winner. Very traditional wheat, good spice, smooth, possibly the Weller Special Reserve. This is nothing like the Weller Special Reserve. And the Maker's Mark 46, which is not my favorite Maker's Mark, as you all probably know that the cask strength is, I said it had an unusual aroma and taste, kind of funky, high proof. This is not high proof. Possibly Davidson's Reserve. Nowhere close did I guess this one right. So, Bardstown goes forward.
Yes.
Maker's Mark goes back. Okay, so now we're talking about game 3. I'm looking at the other side of the bracket here.
Yes.
Who was in play?
Well, I chose Davidson's Reserve as Glass A. And one of what I thought was your favorites, Weller, as Glass B.
Yeah. The Weller's an anomaly when it comes to blind tests. What do you remember from me telling you?
I remember being shocked when you came down and told me which one won.
That's crazy. I've never thought of the Davidsons as being a bad wheated bourbon. I just never really liked it a lot. It was kind of like, yeah, it's for the money. Now it is a single barrel, and I didn't notice it the other day. It's like 116 proof. Like, wow, this is like cask strength. They didn't tell me that when I bought it. Like, no, this is a store pick. You'll love it. It's like cask strength. So what did I say? I said about the Davidsons. I said it was spicy, bold, and complex. Good aroma. And I guessed that it was the Old Elk.
I had a hard time keeping my mouth shut after you picked that one.
I told you I would be no good at picking things in a blind. And it lost. This beat the Weller. Nowhere in the real world does that actually happen, but on this show. Poor Weller. And I got like 3 or 4 more bottles of you. The Davidson advances? I would have bet good money, and I'm talking like $100, that this would have never made it out of the first round. Ever.
I don't think it usually wins when you do a non-all wheated testing.
That is just perplexes the mind. We're like in an alternate universe here. That's what it is. We're in an alternate wheated bourbon universe. And we just don't know it. No one told us. Okay. The final game of the Elite Wheat or Elite 8 series. Game
4 was Kentucky 10 versus Rebel 100.
I've got here we go. I've got my cards mixed up. So, what was Kentucky 10?
Kentucky 10 was A.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebel 100 was
B?
B.
And you're sure about that?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yes.
This is good.
Yes.
This is really good. Let's say, so Rebel 100. And, that's actually a pretty good matchup because they're both low cost or budget bourbons, both wheated. They're both 100 proof. So that's a great matchup, Kim. I got right here in my notes, people. Glass A, which was this. Rebel 100? Question mark? Mild, not much depth, not very sweet.
I was surprised.
I just did a review on this and I said how good it was. I thought it was a great value for the money. I did a review of the Rebel 100 and I didn't think that much of it. Yet, in a blind test,
it won.
It gets better. I said B, which is the Rebel 100. It could be the Bardstown, which, it did make it into the Final Four. I said it could be the Bardstown, a little proofier. Something off in the taste. If not Bardstown, then Davidson's. I'm a terrible guesser, people. You don't want me on your team if you're guessing what a bourbon is. The winner was the Rebel.
Yes.
You know, for my viewers here, you might remember that on the, I think it was episode 2 of Where the Hell's the Weller? The Rebel 100, I guess, was the Weller. So apparently I like it better than I remember. So that completes the, before going into the Final Four, the Kentucky 10 gets booted out. I really like that too. All right, Final Four, Game 1.
Game 1, remember, is the Larceny against the Bardstown.
That's right. And before you tell me who won, I'll tell you what I thought of it. Glass A, don't tell me who it is, I said was smooth, simple, sweet, not complex, light fruit, seemed lower proof than B. Maybe Maker's Mark 46, which is not even in the running. So please tell me what Glass A was.
Glass A was the Larceny.
Well, it is smooth, simple, and sweet. That is correct. Well, I had this all right. I said lower proof than B. Bardstown is 100 proof. The Larceny is like 93, 92. So I got one right in the whole tournament. I got one of them right. So B was the Bardstown, and I said the Bardstown was complex, more spices, somewhat peppery, dark fruits, seemed more age. Maybe it's the Old Elk. I told you, I thought the Old Elk was sailing right through this whole competition. But the Bardstown, which is one of my favorite wheaters, at least it was, won and went into the championship, correct?
Bardstown went forward.
Wow. Wow, at least one of my favorites made it to the championship. All right, same deal. I'm going to tell you what I thought of the Davidsons and the Rebel. Neither one I thought would make it out of the first round. Well, let's see. I said about Glass C. I said, pow! Knocked it out of the park. Spices up front. Bold flavor. Best finish. Got to be the Old Elk or the Bardstown. So I may be able to pull something out of the fire here. And then Glass D. I said good. Not as good as C. Smooth, sweet. No clue which one. So please tell me which one was Glass C.
C was the Davidson.
Oh my God. Pow! Knocked it out of the park. And D was the Rebel. And I have here, tell me if I'm correct, that the Davidson won.
The Davidson won.
Glass C. So, Rebel comes out. Larceny comes out. Is that correct? My certified assistant?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Why don't you share your comments on these two before I tell you which is which?
Oh, Lord. I do have comments. You probably can't read them because I'm the only one that can read my handwriting in the entire world. Glass E, which I don't know which one was, I said so smooth, sweet, baking spice, perfect, great finish. My guess? Bardstown. Then I said about Glass F, bold in your face. So much flavor, peppery taste on the tip of the tongue, peppery finish. My go-to when I want bold. My guess what I guessed? Old Elk again. All right, please tell me, please tell me that Glass E, which I said was the winner, is the Bardstown.
E is the Bardstown.
I got one right. Oh, man. Bardstown beat Davidson's Reserve. Now, there's probably a lot of people out there that love this bourbon. It's just not my go-to. But I'll have to admit that I'm going to have to drink some more of it because it ended up in the championship round. I was very honest. I didn't know what it was.
Nope.
I said it's got a bold flavor, peppery, in your face. So when you want something that's like, yeah, wake me up. Believe it or not, it's the Davidson's Reserve Wheated Bourbon, Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and it will wake you up and put you to sleep at 116 proof. Now, this is a single barrel, so granted, all single barrels are different from barrel to barrel, so yours might not taste as good. Yours might taste a whole lot better. I love this Bardstown. In fact, so much, I was noticing that during this and some other competitions, that this was starting to get like half low. You can see that there. So I bought another bottle. I said, like, this is one of my go-tos. This is one I want to refill when it goes dry. And I mean, it's not quite as pricey as the Old Elk, but obviously I like it more than the Old Elk. Poor old Elk never made it out of round one. I just don't get that at all. I love the Old Elk. And Weller, well, every time I do a competition in Weller, it never makes it up to the top. I don't know what it, in my brain, I have it that the Weller's the best wheated bourbon out there. Apparently, Bardstown is the best wheated bourbon out there. Your mileage may vary. So what do you think of all this? You know, when I came up with this, I'm going like, I'm going to have a wheat week, and I am going to test 8 of my bourbons. I probably have 11 or 12 wheated bourbons right now, and I'm going to come up, and it's going to be magnificent, and I'm going to get every one of those things dead on.
Wrong. It has been fun, though, because you didn't know what you were drinking. Any night, you didn't know what was paired against each other.
I had no clue.
You didn't know what moved forward until now.
This one, the champ. So, wow. We're going to do this again next year. It probably won't be a wheated series, but we're going to come up probably early spring with another something wheat or something week. And because this was a lot of fun. If you've been watching all up to this time, we appreciate that. We've dropped several other videos, including first pours and some bourbon fights. And anyways, it's all about wheat. This week has been Wheat Week. It has been great. It's been fabulous. I couldn't have done it without my trusty sidekick here, Kim. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You just can't do this kind of thing by yourself and be honest about it. I really did not know this guy was going to win. I'm glad he did, but I had no clue. So we hope you've enjoyed the series. We hope you've enjoyed the week. And please come back and please subscribe so we can do lots more of these kind of fun things with you. See you next time.